Alright, let's start the MJ style move. I guess after all that moonwalking, I'm just gonna go get something to eat. But actually, I got food at home, so why not? And I'm wearing this Michael Jackson t-shirt. Thriller! I sure love to moonwalk, but I'm not really good at a standing where he just looks like that he's about to fall through or fall forward, but you have to wear a different type of shoes, but yeah. Hey, what's going on, my dudes and dudettes? This is Byron here once again, and welcome to another episode of Byron's Bios. So, are you a Michael Jackson fan? Well, you have come to the right place. Because in this video, I am about to review one of the newest biopic films that just came out this year based on the life and career of the King of Pop, of the one and only, the King of Pop, Michael Jackson. And that is Michael. Speaking of Michael Jackson, I'm wearing a Michael Jackson t-shirt, and let me give you a you know what I mean? And no, it's not a Disney movie. It is a Universal movie. It is also distributed by Lionsgate, GK Films, and Optimum Productions, another theatrical Michael Jackson movie produced by the company since Moonwalker, correct me if I'm wrong. So, it follows the life and career of Michael Jackson beginning with the Jackson 5, where he was forced to work a lot in a family music career. And he was often abused by his own father, Joseph Jackson, who was also his boss, and never wanted him to feel like he was family to him, but rather a cash cow. From then, he grew up without having a normal childhood, and he was often working from a very young age as a singer and dancer, and had to continue to do so, even in his solo career. There have also been scenes where he was obsessed with Disney animals, which is why he got his own pet monkey, and traveled to several places for things like record deals, recording sessions, meet and greets, and concerts. He had a huge imagination where he wanted to make the world a better place while focusing on what he loves doing as a work of art. And he deals with the change in his family, which is something. Into Michael's solo career, he has had enough of his father exploiting him while being part of the Jackson 5. Like, he hated his father so much for what he did to him, even as a child, which is why he fired his own father and left the band entirely to continue focusing on his solo career. Though he did get himself surgery for his nose so that his father could stop making fun of him with his original nose prior to his surgery. We also get to see him creating his own movie studio for his music videos, including Beat It, Thriller, etc. However, that did not prevent any horrible things occurring to him later in life. During the special Pepsi commercial that he and his brothers were doing, his hair literally caught fire during one of the takes, which damaged his scalp, and that forever changed his life, which included him constantly taking medicine. On the other note, not only does it focus on the true story of Michael Jackson that's based off of, we also get a ton of footage where Michael Jackson performs his concerts, which gives the vibe of a concert experience. Even towards the end of the film, almost like a Michael Jackson concert that you might have went to when you were younger. I mean, wow. I don't even know how to elaborate this, but all I gotta say is that this movie blew me away, and it was an emotional roller coaster, which I'll explain why here in a bit. This movie is one of this year's biopic films that I can barely escape from, but in a good way. First off, let's talk about the storyline of the film and how it was connected to Michael Jackson's life. You know, this movie focuses on the early stages of Michael Jackson himself, from when he was part of the Jackson 5 to when he became a solo pop star. And like, how they showed what was occurring through his early years and the young adult days, based on what Michael Jackson confirmed when he was alive, it was totally an emotional roller coaster. In fact, this movie is indeed an emotional roller coaster with everything that Michael Jackson went through. I mean, I feel like the writing, directing, and producing went really well in a lot of cases. And hey, you cannot go wrong with the music that Michael Jackson had, and with this biopic film recreating each song and each music video, really makes you feel like you're part of the story, especially with it feeling like you're at his concert. In fact, the movie feels like a concert experience from time to time, and like, the music really assisted that with a lot of fans. Not to mention, some people watching the movie actually fainted because of how cool the main character himself is. And funny, well, this one's a really crazy story, but we actually had one person who fainted during the movie, and like, the first responders had to be called, which is so awkward, and it's not something to see at a movie theater these days. And let me be honest, ladies and gentlemen, I love MJ's music, and growing up, I would listen to his music all the time, like on the radio, on YouTube, and I actually discovered some stuff related to Michael Jackson, but from simpler and better times. And with his music being as great as what they originally were, I loved every single song that he performed in the movie. It's like, oh my freaking god, dude. It was just awesome. And last but not least, the casting is very important in this topic. My heavens, they actually casted the right person to portray Michael Jackson. And fun fact, the guy named Jafar Jackson, the one who played Michael Jackson in the film, is actually Michael Jackson's nephew. And having a family member related to MJ portraying him is something you don't really get in movies these days. And I think they did a great job choosing the right person for this movie, especially for his nephew to carry on his uncle's legacy. Like, that is so amazing. From makeup to wardrobe choices like a wig for one of his appearances and how they casted every other Jackson family member, they made him look so good in those. And yes, there's a sequel in the works, which I can't even wait for, but it's most likely going to focus on the final years of Michael Jackson and his downfall that we're not going to get into, so we'll have to wait and see how well it's interpreted. Overall, with Michael being a biopic movie that follows the story of his life, and while being this concert experience that like a lot of people adore, I loved it so much with a passion, and what's even better is that my Uncle Tony was a huge fan of Michael Jackson. Like, he was literally obsessed with him from when he was younger until he moved to Florida, like what, before I was born? And when I was told about it, I was amazed by how my uncle was a fan of MJ, and I don't blame him for being one at one of the best times on earth. Well, there are some flaws in the movie, like where it feels slow at times, but that's what biopic movies are usually. Despite that, I enjoyed every aspect of the film, and as I was also a Michael Jackson fan myself growing up, and believe it or not, I actually dressed up as MJ for a couple of talent shows I was in when I was in high school, and I have a Michael Jackson shirt that I'm wearing right now, which I've had it since I was in high school. And I mean, hey, I'm gonna have to agree with a lot of people that Michael Jackson's music is way better than Taylor Swift's music. I mean, ever since MJ had passed, pop music hasn't been the same because a lot of them are just some crappy songs that became so overrated, and let's just say that this world has slowly shifted into that, unfortunately. In fact, my coworker and I were talking about it the other night, and she knows a lot about music, so that's great. At the end of the day, Michael Jackson had shaped our lives the way we listen to pop music and how we started it all, but now it's just a nod to the nostalgia for those that grew up with him, and even though he's no longer with us, he will always be the best. So that's my review on Michael, the 2026 Michael biopic film. Well guys, I want to thank you for watching this vid. I hope you all enjoyed it. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next vid. And until then, this is me, Byron, signing off. Double peace! Catch you later. Woo!